Hello again, and welcome back to Wingot Plays Nomifactory. As you can see, since the last episode, I have done a fair bit of work just tidying up and automating various processes. Upstairs here, I've pretty much moved all of the applied logistics, and I've even gotten rid of the LV blast furnace, but I still have a manual blast furnace over here, which is running on MV. I've also expanded the MV line a little bit here, a couple of macerators, centrifuge, electric furnace, electrolyzer, just to do things like bauxite, which gets us the impure piles of bauxite dust, which then get us tiny piles of gallium dust, which are used for diodes and for silicon balls. I also used this same setup here to make a whole lot of antimony. But in the meantime, over here, we have expanded the line a little bit, just so that I could include an extra couple of shulkers, and those extra shulkers mean that we're producing extra diamonds. Those extra diamonds are then going down to produce power down here. All three of those shulker data models at this point are self-aware, so between the three of them we could run 9 of these numismatic dynamos with the lapidary calibration and auxiliary transmission coils. Currently there's only 7 here, but you can see we're actually only using about half of the power that these 7 are able to produce. I will produce another couple of numismatic dynamos, and that can easily be done by the applied logistics system. If we just pop over here, we can even tell the numismatic system, create me 2 numismatic dynamos and 2 lapidary calibrations. And it will just do that in the background. It will craft the various things it needs to. I don't know why. Sorry, I had an old job just sitting there, which looks like it has failed. Let me just set all of these as well while I remember. It looks like that's not actually running. Why is that not running? Silicon ball plus water in a... Oh, because there's no power connected here. That would do the job. So over here we've got, there we go, numismatics already made, lapidary conversions already made, and then we're also just going to need 2 of these auxiliary transmission coils. Perfect. And we'll grab out that CEF that I told the system to make before, and a flux capacitor. Now, auxiliary. That will finish in just a little bit. It's just making some conductive iron ingots at the moment. Give us the CEF so that we can power this system. And if we throw in that flux capacitor, you can see it's charging relatively fast. It had already got almost 1 million by the time I closed that. And then if we pop over here, we'll see if that has increased the demand. Yep, they're all going up in the amount of RF that they're outputting. I think that with such a large draw, it actually gets these guys to cap out at 3000 RF per tick. Previously, whenever I put down a new CEF, it would cause the applied logistics system to die because there was just so much power draw that it would eventually use up all 25,000 RF that's sitting here in this vibrant capacitor bank, which is what was providing the power to the applied logistics system. Now that we've expanded the power production, you can see the applied logistics system here, the dense energy cells, aren't even blinking at the fact that so much power is being sucked up into that new CEF over there. But this is getting close. We're just waiting on the conductive iron ingots, which are being made here in one of these alloy smelters down there. And unfortunately, it's a slow-ish process. I just clicked on the iron ingot, so that probably was a mistake, but there you go. It's 7.5 seconds for each attempt. It's 16 EU per tick. This is an MV tier, So I think it doubles that. But yeah, the overclocking logic, I would need to actually look at it again to know exactly how much it's increasing it. But there we go, we've got our 2 auxiliary transmission coils, and in order to add new numismatic dynamos, all we need to do is pop over. Well, arguably, we could put it absolutely anywhere that there is a vibrant alloy energy conduit, but how about we just put it here for now? They tend to always point away from where you are facing, so they both just need to hit to point in the correct direction here. Now, if we quickly... let's just move that one, because I'm not going to be able to really put an item conduit where it was located. But, oops, there we go. And so those are just going to both need an item filter set to diamonds, and then the red channel, which means draw out of the drawers upstairs. Going to need another item conduit here, and then same setup. You also want diamonds from red, go. And then the last thing is they actually need the lapidary calibration so that they can even accept those diamonds. That should work. Ah, there you go. Perfect. And at that point we are using all of the diamonds that are being produced. But we've got 11k of diamonds, they're almost 12k. And so we'll in future probably want to make yet another shulker. Also, if we do need to expand the power any further. But at the moment we've got capacity for 27,000 RF per tick from those various numismatic dynamos over there. I also have taken the step of getting these end steel energy conduits, which is just a matter of end steel wire and the vibrant alloy energy conduits. The end steel is just end steel ingots, which you can get from end steel, from the alloy smelter, which is dark steel, which we already had, and end stone dust. End stone dust can be made just with end stone, and end stone can be made just with our extraterrestrial matter, an ender pearl, and 2 sandstone. Very easy. I haven't yet gotten around to upgrading the power connections to this end steel energy conduit, but I had the fact that these can go all the way up to 3000 RF per tick. There you go, 2330 RF per tick across 7 means that those have to be producing about 15,000 RF between them. Looks like they're going down now, so the CEF's finally full. But if those are producing across 9 of them, so that was producing over 18,000 RF per tick, or maybe even close to 20,000 RF per tick. But this cable here says that it can only carry, no, we don't have any on us, that it can only carry 8,000 RF per tick. So what I think is happening is I think that it limits each output connection. I don't think that's the how much it can carry. I think each individual connection caps out at 8,000. I could be wrong on that, but that's why I haven't yet gotten around to upgrading these vibrant alloy energy conduits. It seems to work perfectly fine with our setup as it is at the moment. I basically have been setting up this downstairs area so that on the left here we have all of our passive production. So here I've reproduced our polyethylene setup, well, mostly reproduced. I've changed it slightly, so over here we're using silicon dioxide dust, which comes from centrifuging stone dust, which comes from macerating furnaces. And then here there's just cobblestone generator plus cobblestone to make furnaces. This setup I saw on the Discord and thought that it was, well, it's a much more efficient way of getting the oxygen that you need, because that silicon dioxide dust then here, silicon dioxide dust in the electrolyzer produces silicon dust, which we're just pumping up here into the electric furnace, smelting it, and sending it into the system, silicon ingots, and it produces lots and lots of oxygen. That oxygen then feeds into our polyethylene chemical reactor. Polyethylene is then made into ingots. Up here, we are just creating ethanol to sulfuric acid to make the ethylene, and that's being fed by the distillery, and I'm just using rubber tree saplings instead of sugarcane, but otherwise this whole section is basically the same process as it was previously. And then here we've got the chemical reactor producing the sulfuric acid that's required for this chemical reactor. Over here, I've expanded our blast furnaces. We've basically got 4 here, doing aluminium, energetic alloys, vibrant alloys, and then an on-demand, well, in fact, these last 3 have all been on demand. So this will on demand produce energetic alloy, vibrant alloy, stainless steel, fluxed electrum, but we haven't taught the system how to make fluxed electrum blend, and rose gold. Rose gold is pretty simple. It's just 4 gold dust plus a copper dust, and also the silicon balls that we taught the system before, which is where we need the tiny piles of gallium dust, which is why I was processing that centrifuging manually, because it only needs 1 tiny pile of gallium dust per silicon ball. So I was just doing that manually for the time being. It's still processing some rose gold dust that I told it to make before, because that takes it takes 4.5 minutes for each rose gold ingot. And as I said, 4 gold dust and a copper dust. Over here, the aluminium dust is full, because in here, we've actually got a full drawer of aluminium dust there. If you macerate or pulverize clay, you get clay dust. 7 clay dust makes aluminium dust, silicon dust, and sodium dust and lithium dust. So over there in the Ender, the pristine polymer clay setup here, we had a surplus of clay being produced. It was just sitting in here, and you can see even now it's still completely full of clay, even though it's doing this job and also being pulverized to make that aluminium. So now we've got infinite aluminium being produced there. And then at the back here, I've set up another blast furnace, but this one actually has a fluid input of oxygen, because this one is going to be making our annealed copper. Annealed copper is just copper plus oxygen in a blast furnace, and takes 10 seconds each. So we've got one more on-demand recipe here to make some annealed copper. Perfect. And then over here on the right side, so yeah, the left side is mostly passive. Yes, the blast furnaces are active, but in future they'll become passive as well. And then on the right, we've just got a molecular assembler array with pretty much the first 2 columns completely full with recipes, 9 for each interface, and it's only this recipe that even has any spare space. Then this whole back face here has not yet been used at all, and so is available for another, 9, so another 72 recipes here. So currently there's capacity for almost 80 recipes sitting in our molecular assemblers there. I've made some dense energy cells because the previous energy cell was occasionally losing power. Now that I've upgraded the power system over there and put these dense energy cells in, it's never had an issue since. I've still only got the 2 ME drives, but mostly they're still not even full, partly because the drawers are taking anything that is going to get anywhere near, the drawers are going to take anything that we are making in bulk. Basically anything automated goes into the drawers. Over here, the inscriber setup, and you can see I actually screwed up the floor. I originally didn't have the edging on this line, and everything was sort of one tile back from where it was meant to be. But I will move this in future. For now though, it's just set up to create the various processes and also charge Certus quartz. It is set up to always keep a stock of, well, if I have Certus quartz in the system, if there's more than 400 Certus quartz, then it will automatically convert any of the excess into charged Certus quartz. But I've also told it how to make charged Certus quartz on demand. So if I do ever need charged Certus quartz, the Certus quartz can be pumped out into this crate and put into the charger, and then the charger is just set to only extract charged Certus quartz. 4 16K crafting storages with 3 crafting coast processors each. Even this, I keep running into issues with. I need more CPUs, basically more crafting storages, and I need to expand to that because 16K can even sometimes be a limitation on some of our recipes. And then over here, we've basically just got all of the various machines: the compressors, wire mills, lathes, alloy smelters, and even over here, we've got the cutting machine, which takes the silicon ball, makes silicon wafers, and then the various precision lasers that then convert those into the central processing units, RAM, and integrated circuits. So basically, the last thing that we had set up upstairs in that MV area. And finally over here, we've just got a couple of setups which allow us to get lava buckets and water buckets from these fluid tanks. And I think that's pretty much it for downstairs. Upstairs, I've not done much. I've basically just cleaned things up. I already showed this bit. The pyrolysis oven here is annoying. It's one of my current jobs to get rid of that. But as you can see, I might have shown this already, I've cleaned up the applied logistics system. I've still got the LV system sitting here, and nothing else has really changed other than over here I've got drawers now for the aluminium, the silicon ingots that are being made, and polyethylene, for which we've got 10 stacks now produced and slowly climbing. So if we take a look at our clipboard, the jobs that we currently have, I've basically gone through and looked at our quest book here, the early game. In order to finish this, I've basically prioritized the things that are here so that we can work through this page. But distillation tower, okay, I have included most of this. So down here is our current priority. What we really want is we want to make this plastic circuit boards, and we want to make polyvinyl chloride so that we can make SMD components, which will allow us to make the refined circuits. And then the refined circuits will allow us to make the refined processors and the refined arrays. And the reason for that, pretty much any time I want to do a craft, let's say we want some patterns, the limiting factor almost always winds up being these phenolic circuit boards. I've only got 39 in the system at the moment. You can see, even if I'd wanted 100 patterns, nothing else is a problem except these phenolic circuit boards. They are used to make the electronic circuits only. That is the only thing they are used for. And the phenol substrate, as far as I can tell, is only used to make these phenolic circuit boards. Possibly in future, I could be wrong, maybe this bisphenol becomes important. Carbon dust we can get from plenty of other sources. But the bisphenol looks like it always needs phenol, and okay, that looks like it's used for epoxy. So maybe in future I will actually need to set up the phenol, but what I was looking at was if we move up to the next tier of circuits, they don't use those phenolic circuit boards, they only use these plastic circuit boards. And the plastic circuit boards just use polyethylene, which we've already automated, copper, which we've got, and sulfuric acid, which we've got. At the moment, whenever I need more circuits, so if we go here, processors, and say that we need 10 of those, well, 10's enough. 10 it could handle, but 20, there we go, we need phenolic circuit boards. I've been grabbing 4 stacks of coal, I've been processing it manually here through the pyrolysis oven, and then grabbing that fluid tank, grabbing the phenol, and putting it over here into the chemical reactor with circuit boards in order to get phenolic substrate. But if we can move to the refined tier of circuits and processors and arrays, then that removes that requirement to do the pyrolysis. So that is the current plan. Silicon balls, we can get rid of all those. And so, in that case, what we need to do is we need to make plastic circuit boards in a chemical reactor. So a chemical reactor is easy. Only thing we're missing at the moment is some electric motors, and it's super convenient that we can just tell the system, cool, just make 20 of those. It works away and produces our various components. Good. So we've got advanced and chemical reactor. Now, if we take a look at this, so this uses sulfuric acid. If we take a look at the chemical reactor, there is a few different crafts that use sulfuric acid. So it's probably worth just setting this up downstairs as a standard autocrafting machine. And then feeding it, let's actually put flood on, there we go. And feeding it some sulfuric acid. So let's, and with every single machine that gets placed, it needs to be set so that it outputs, and it also can accept output from the same side. Then we can put the ME interface on top. Perfect. Now, if we quickly pop over here, what was it that we needed? We wanted, not sulfuric acid, we wanted plastic circuit boards. The system already knows how to make polyethylene sheets. It knows how to make copper coils. What is the difference between these two recipes? Copper foils, that uses polyvinyl chloride, which is more efficient. It produces 2 plastic circuit boards instead of 1, but for the time being, we can at least get this working using our normal polyethylene. And polytetrafluoroethylene is apparently not worth looking into at this point. But here, polyethylene plus copper foils makes plastic circuit boards. And then if we pop over here, put that recipe in, tell this that it can output, and then for now we'll just piggyback on the line that's already there, but we'll tell the system to make a couple of extra CEFs. I'm surprised that the system doesn't know how to make energetic alloy conduits. I can't even make one. Fine, we can fix that easy by doing this and then feeding that into the molecular assemblers, and then it should be able to make, perfect, a couple of CEFs. Good, but in the meantime, we'll just feed it with some overlap power from this one next to it. Perfect. Given that we generally don't have all of our machines running at the same time, it sort of doesn't matter that we have a bit of overlap there, but I've mostly been partitioning out the machines into 4 amps to 4 machines. Now, that's done, so cool, it can make plastic circuit boards. I believe it knows how to make copper foils and polyethylene sheets, so let's go have a quick look. So that machine is not actually connected. Now, given that I threw away a batch of ME conduits before, I'm just going to make some extras, but we'll grab a Fluix cable, plug that in here, good, and then we should be able to make plastic circuit boards. Over here, plastic circuit boards, perfect. Now I want you to make 30 of those. Okay, the system doesn't actually know yet how to make copper foils. Very easy. That's going to just be copper plates into copper foils in the cluster mill, which is right there. Perfect. And now, how does it not know how to make copper plates? Fine. I do have a spare compressor around that has space. I sort of always forget where it is. I should just make another interface terminal and use that to access the various machines. Now that should be everything it needs. There we go. Cool. So it can just craft plastic circuit boards now. Perfect. Now the plastic circuit boards, though, allow us to make the refined processors. I'm just having a look because... So this refined processor uses the refined circuit, fine. And the refined circuits... the refined circuits can be made in the systems that we've already got. I thought that we actually needed SMDs in order to make refined circuits. I do believe SMDs are much more efficient than these processors that don't use them, but for the time being, we should actually be able to just tell the system, make the refined components and drop those in place of our electronics. So third and final tier 1 circuit. So yes, that's the top tier circuit. We've got soldering alloy. I don't know. I don't think that... Oh, it is automated because we've got soldering somewhere in here. We've told the systems to combine antimony and tin to make soldering alloy. So we've got the refined circuits. Third tier 2 circuit. So we need that one as well. Soldering alloy. Perfect. I'm going to need some more patterns, but there were some more in the system there. Good. And then the refined processor alloy, soldering alloy. Perfect. And then we've actually got the first tier 4 circuit, the refined processor's mainframe, which looks like it should be pretty possible to make. Vibrant alloy wire we know how to do, and stainless steel frames, but it does need all of these various SMDs. The stainless steel frame, probably pretty easy. For now, we'll just put that into the system and then we'll work towards actually being able to make it. So, soldering alloy, I think is this machine here. Yep, soldering alloy. So if we put these, let's move that over, into there. Now the electronic, so you're soldering alloy, you are polyethylene. Where is our electronic circuits being made? Because basically they don't need to be in the system anymore. Assembly machine, probably this one. This guy is full of tin. Ah, yes, okay. So these will no longer be needed. We'll just clean this up a little bit. There we go. So we don't need the basic electronic circuit, electronic processor, or electronic processing array. Everything that can be made with these can now be made using those new refined processors. But we still need to recode all of the patterns that used these. So I will just clear these patterns quickly. There we go. And if we pop upstairs, in fact, let's not pop upstairs. Let's just make a new one here, a new interface terminal. This here, we need a illuminated panel, which should not take long at all. What's being made there? The plastic circuit boards. I think it's stuck on those copper plates, which would imply that the compressor that we put that into here is not set to output. Perfect. Now, We've got an illuminator panel. There we go. ME interface terminal. Now if we put that, let's grab another piece of Fluix. And we will put that here above the patterns. Perfect. So now if we take a look at inputs or names and we look at electronic, then this should show us everything that's got electronic processors or electronic circuits or electronic arrays as part of its recipe. Basic electronic circuit. Yep, cool. So if I go through and grab all of the ones that are highlighted in green, we can just swap out the... Let's clean this up a little bit. There we go. Then yeah, we'll be able to swap out the component to use the new ones that we've made. And just as I realized it, I think I left a hole there, but I'll fix it up later on. First though, it'll be easiest if we just craft at least one of each. And in order to craft it, we're going to need fine tin alloy and stainless steel plates to be automated. That's pretty easy. Fine tin alloy wire, perfect. In a wire mill, good, we've got a spare wire mill around. And stainless steel plate, good, compressor. And if we pop here, we can get rid of that electronic there, and what we want is the compressor. So we've got an advanced compressor with spare space here. In fact, let's put that there, and then you need to go into a wire mill, which that will finish filling up this wire mill, but for now it'll be fine. And then we can tell it to make, there you go, a refined processor array, a refined processor, and a refined circuit. Good. And then when it's finished making those, we will be able to use those to replace these various recipes. If we pop in here again, look at the inputs, and then we can take out all of these that have the electronics, that was a mistake, as part of their recipe. Perfect. I'm actually surprised that there's so few things that used the electronic components as part of their recipe. But if we take a look here, molecular assembler, good. Show all interfaces, only show with 3 slots. Perfect. That's convenient. Now, these are still crafting plastic circuit boards, CPU wafers, plastic circuit boards. I suspect that I've screwed up over here and not set these to output. No, that one is set to output, but it is not getting sulfuric acid. Fine. This one here is just taking a while to, yeah, okay, 45 seconds to use the glass lens on the silicon wafers. So that lot's working fine. And then here we just need to get sulfuric acid into that system, which is why I had the hole there. How was I going to put sulfuric acid in here? For now, I could just use an ender tank. But what I want to do in future is get ME fluids set up. For now though, yeah, let's do an ender tank. Craft 10 of those. Ooh. Okay. A block of ender pearl, easy. And a portable tank. What's that? That's copper, fine. Fused quartz, fine. Redstone servo. It doesn't know how to make. I suspected that was going to be the case. Perfect. And then, what was it? It was in the tank that I was making. Yep. So, if we just pop in here, we've got space for both of those. And Good. Make 10 of those. Good. Block of enderpearl. Thought I just told the system how to make block of enderpearl. Enderpearl. Oh. My mistake. Give me the molecular assemblers again, and that gets to go there. Perfect. Cool. So for now, I actually just need 2 of these. And there's no crafting CPUs available because those are actually all waiting on the plastic circuit boards. So let's get rid of this guy, the guy making just the most basic tier, and then make the 2 ender tanks, which will allow us to fix the issue. And then I'm going to need some fluid conduit. Yeah, I'll need at least some fluid conduit. And I may need a fluid filter. And then if we grab the ender tank. Now, sulfuric acid. I'm wondering if I'm even going to be able to make like an orange dye. Let's see. Oh, okay. Minecraft orange dye. No, not even close. Do we have some sort of red? I don't know. Give me a minute while I just find the dyes that I'm going to need to configure these ender tanks. And perfect. So this one here, which one? This one here is making sulfuric acid. So if we just pull out of that one, let's put a fluid conduit on the front. We'll put a ender tank above it, just because I'm trying to keep that space below it available. Perfect. And then we actually should be able to just set that without even a filter. Perfect. Oh, except I just put that into the wrong color channel. Wrong color ender tank. We'll fix that up later. But for the time being, we've got some orange dye. Perfect. And there you go. Orange is full. And finally, if we pop over here, this guy is going to need ender tank, and we'll just set it to output. Perfect. Now that should make the plastic circuit boards, which will allow the rest of this to continue. And once it's done, there we go. We should be able to replace these various patterns with the refined setup and get rid of the electronics. Very happy with that. I'll do all of that between episodes, and I will see you in the next one. Stay happy and healthy.